game, set, match. We have all the info for you, and coming up on today's show, I'm going to be breaking down the Texans' divisional matchup against the Baltimore Ravens, a common foe. We've played this team before. We know this team. This isn't the first time the Texans have matched up against the Ravens in the divisional round. I'll get to that and who to watch for later on in the video, but first, sub for Texans Dubs. If you want to win this week, if you want the Texans to go to the AFC South Championship game, I'm going to need you to hit that sub button. If you believe in this team, DeMeco Ryans, C.J. Stroud, yeah, go down, hit that subscribe button. Daily Texans news and rumors videos all year long. And like I said, the matchup is set. Texans at Ravens this Saturday, January 20th at 3:30 p.m. Central Time. Be here or be square. I couldn't think of anything, Jack, in that moment. But be here or what are you doing? Because I'm bringing you live play-by-play and a game-like atmosphere here on Texans Today. But before we talk about the future, before we go forward, let's kind of rewind a little bit. Let's go to the past because these teams matched up this year in Week 1. C.J. Stroud's very first game in the National Football League was against the Baltimore Ravens in the regular season. He had an okay game. 28 of 44, 242, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. But more importantly, I thought the Texans kept this game a lot closer than people thought. The Ravens kind of pulled away at the end. It was 25-9. Not what you would really say like a blowout game. It was a very weird game overall. Dameon Pierce was still the lead back for the Houston Texans at this point, and the leading rusher for the Ravens was in fact Lamar Jackson with 38 yards. Texans, 17 of 22, 169 and a pick. That's not what we are used to seeing out of the MVP of the National Football League. Lamar Jackson most likely going to be the MVP this year, but I have a sneaky good feeling about the Texans in this game. But what say you? Go down and predict the score right now. The matchup is just now set. So I'm going to ask you off the rip, your gut feeling. What do you think is going to happen in this game? Predict the score down in the comments section. Now, this is going to be the pinned comment on today's video. So go down and give me your score predictions while this YouTube ad break plays. You know what? I feel a weird confidence in this team, and maybe that's just me having my Texans goggles on, or maybe that's just I have that much faith in C.J. Stroud and DeMeco Ryans. But I feel like this game is going to be a lot closer than people think. I think the Texans, honestly, out of everybody the Texans could have matched up with in the divisional round, I wanted the Ravens the most. I wanted the Ravens more than the Chiefs or the Bills because I think this team matches up well against the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens, 6 in total offense, 6 in total defense. The number 1 seed in the AFC with a 13-4 record. They opened up, this is fresh off the books, right? 8.5-point favorites, total over-under 46. Texans, obviously, we saw what they did last week, even though they're 12th in total offense, 14th in total defense, a 10-7 record on the year. Good enough for the AFC South champions. But I think this team matches up well. I'll get into who you need to scout, who you need to be on the lookout for this week, because I'll have more videos throughout the entire week on this matchup, the Texans against the Ravens, keys to victory, injury reports, and whatnot. But before I get into who you need to scout this week, got to show some love to our sponsor of today's video, and that is PrizePicks. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS, code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. PrizePicks is daily fantasy sports made easy. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. Testing my skills on PrizePicks this season is the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. If you have the skills, you can turn $10 into $250 with just a few taps. PrizePicks is really simple. All you got to do is choose 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projected stat types, and then place your entry. It's as easy as that. And you can do it for NFL games, NBA, hockey. They even have MMA, whatever you fancy. Just do it over at PrizePicks. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. PrizePicks is daily fantasy sports made easy, folks. Go check it out today, prizepicks.com/CLNS, code CLNS today. Now, some players for the Ravens that you need to look out for. Number one, obviously, I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't say the name Lamar Jackson, the quarterback for the Baltimore Ravens, the dual threat athlete. Lamar has proven that he's more than just a runner in this league. He's also a great thrower of the football. So if the Texans want to win this game, step one is they got to figure out something for Lamar Jackson. They got to figure out how to stop this man, a good game plan. And if I'm confident with anybody being able to do that, I would say it's DeMeco Ryans and staff. I really feel like this defensive staff, the adjustments that they're able to make, especially when they have their full slate of guys like Jonathan Grenard, Will Anderson rushing the passer, I really think this Texans defense can do something against this Ravens offense. Number two, Odell Beckham Jr. Now, he hasn't had the most amazing year so far, but if I know anything about OBJ, it's when the lights are on, he really plays his best ball. I mean, we look at that run that he had with the Los Angeles Rams, that playoff run, OBJ was their best receiver. So you got to make sure you stop OBJ if you want to win this ball game. A little low-key name for you, somebody who has been really catching my eye the past couple of times I've put Baltimore on the screen is Isaiah Likely, the tight end. Now, Mark Andrews has been dealing with injury issues all year, and Isaiah Likely has stepped up and has played very admirably in his, while he's gone. So Isaiah Likely, somebody that the Texans are going to have to key in on and watch in this game because he's been getting better and better each game. I think he'll have a couple plays on this Saturday. And Zay Flowers, the other wide receiver, he is a boomer bust guy. I feel like he's one of those guys, he's either going to have, 20 yards or 120 yards. So watch out for Zay Flowers. He can really take the top off the defense. And if Lamar Jackson's going to take any deep shots, I think it's going to be to Zay Flowers. Now, on the defensive side, little revenge game. The team who drafted him, Jadeveon Clowney, playing well for the Ravens this year. A lot of teams didn't want him at the beginning of the year. He was a free agent for a while. Finds a home in Baltimore, 9.5 sacks this season for Jadeveon Clowney, the former first overall pick by your Houston Texans. Got to watch him this Saturday. Now, the Ravens don't have one guy who they're like, oh, that's their TJ Watt. That's their, star pass rusher. They have a lot of guys along that defensive line that can get after the quarterback, Jadeveon Clowney being one of them. Another guy, Roquan Smith, and I could have gone with him or the other linebacker and Patrick Queen. They're both fantastic players. Roquan is one of the best linebackers in the National Football League. So you got to watch out for him, especially in coverage over the middle. I know C.J. Stroud, he's been very careful with the ball. He's taken great care of it. But with those two linebackers roaming the middle, you got to make sure you take care of the football with those crossing patterns. Now, I talked about that defensive line and how they don't have one stud, one star. If they did, it would be this guy right here, Justin Matabuke, the defensive lineman. He has over 13 sacks this season for the Baltimore Ravens. So the interior of the line, and I've called him out in the past. He played pretty well this past week, but really be on the lookout for the interior with Michael Dieter, Juice Scruggs. If they can really keep Justin Matabuke at bay, this Texans offense can prosper and do well. If not, it's going to be a rough day for C.J. Stroud. And lastly, kind of Swiss Army knife for this Ravens defense, Kyle Hamilton, safety. I mean, I was surprised whenever the Ravens got him out of Notre Dame that he just kept on dropping down the draft boards because I really thought he was one of the top 5 guys in that draft, and he has developed each and every year and gotten better and better. Kyle Hamilton, he can play in the box. He can play deep as the safety. He can really do it all. He can, line up in man-to-man. So he's one of the guys on the defense that you really have to keep an eye out on if you're the Houston Texans. Now, you tell me, what Ravens player or players worries you the most going into this matchup? Who are you gonna keep your eyes out on for this game? Let me know down in the comment section. And like I said earlier, if you haven't already, go down and hit that sub button right now, youtube.com/TexansTV for daily Texans news and rumors content. I'll be giving you more videos throughout the entire week on this matchup, so stay tuned and be here on Saturday as I go live. Texans versus Ravens, a divisional matchup yet again. Last time, the Ravens got the better of the Texans 20-13 in that 2012 matchup. Can the Texans get the monkey off their back? They already beat the guy who was the quarterback of that team, and Joe Flacco. Will they take the next step and beat the Ravens this week?